How you doing, friends? Welcome back. My name is Rick and this is Winder's Ranger. So today, as part of the continuing series of the air conditioner build, I'm getting ready for the air conditioner to be delivered. I expect it anytime within the next 2 to 3 days, something to that effect. One of the things that I have to do is check the clearance for the bunk. So the plan was to open up the back of this and put a set of cupboard doors here to give me access to anything that I put in storage above here. That creates two issues. One, there's a brace here and there's a brace here. So if I open this up, I need to make sure that either the items that are still in here, if I don't take those down, that I can get them down, or that I take them down before I start working if they won't fit through whatever space that I've got here, because I know there's a brace that runs in the wall. The question was, how wide was it? You know, you can tap on the wall and kind of get an idea, but that doesn't really, without actually physically seeing it, that doesn't give you an absolute certain dimension of what that brace is. So I took off the outside corner that was on here and tried to peel this back to look up inside, and I found two things. One, the bracing is aluminum, which is that's a good thing. So I've got an aluminum bar that runs across the bottom here, and then there's three. There's a wide one and then two narrower ones of aluminum bar that run through the center, and I marked them here. The edge runs about here and the other edge is about here. So let's see, I don't know if my hand's wide enough. It's about like that, and that gives me roughly this much space here and this much space on this side. And then there's another brace. Let's see, I didn't move the camera. There's another brace over here, and there's another brace on this side. So it gives me enough room that I could get a box out of there if I open that up and put a cupboard door on it. So with that, we know what the bracing is going to be. I'm getting ready to head to Lowe's now to pick up some different supplies. I need some plywood, maybe some trim, 1x1s, maybe a couple of 2x4s that I can rip down. Of course, some screws, fasteners, different things. I'm also going to need the cable, the wiring that I need for the to run between the breaker box and the air conditioner. Also going to need the breaker and some various other things. So we're getting ready to head to the store now. We're going to go pick those things up and bring them back. Like I said, I expect the air conditioner to show up anytime. So I've already got the compartment door that I plan on installing. That's the compartment door. I haven't opened it up yet, but the compartment door, the intention is it's going to go mounted in here. When the condensation builds up on the wall outside, it makes evident where the bracing is. Of course, there's a brace here, runs along the door, and there's a brace over here in the corner. I don't think there's one inside, which kind of brings into question how they braced up here for this aluminum bracing now. It probably goes into the wall and then runs into a bar across here, I would imagine. But what we'll do is we'll eventually end up cutting a hole in the wall, and the outdoor unit's going to sit right here and blow right outside. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be the compartment door. You can open that up, and there'll be you know, a screen or a vent or something like that to keep the bugs and stuff out. And then when we go to move the trailer, I can just close that door or put the door back on and close it, and that'll seal that up, shut everything down, and then we can move the trailer and keep everything dry in here. So and of course there'll be a box basically building an inside compartment around the air conditioner just to kind of hide it and create some storage up above there. So with that being said, let's get everything together. We'll run to the store and start picking up some supplies. So we made it back from the hardware store. Got 2 bags of stuff here. We got box of fasteners, and of course we got our spool of what did I get? 10. I accidentally got 10.4. Should have been 10.3. Not a big deal. Just won't use that 4th wire in there. But also got our breaker. I got that sitting in the other room. We got a couple of boards here, and my 1x1s. That's going to go in the overhead bunk area. Had to get a saw over there so we can cut them. I got a Sawzall, but I figured I'd just go ahead and get the saw anyway. I needed one. So let me walk in and show you the breaker box. I just was working on that a little bit here. Alright, so there's the breaker box. What I just did is I moved over my neutral wires, moved everything over one slot. This one here, I don't know why in the world you would crank something down as tight as what they did there, but it was so tight that I stripped the head of the nut out there trying to loosen that up. So I had to cut that one off and skip it. This one was moved way over here. I guess they're just in such a hurry to wire these things up. So I moved it back onto this side, not that it really matters. And then I moved all these over one slot, with the exception of this one, because I can't get that one out now, to make room on the far end here where I'm going to be hooking into my my breaker for the AC. Did the same thing for the grounds, moved everything over with the exception of this big ground coming in here. That's probably going to the frame. Just checked my breaker. It fits in this slot no problem, so I don't have to do anything with these other breakers. I'm going to leave them alone for the time being. A couple of reasons for that. One, I'll only have to interrupt the power a short time to put the breaker in and actually hook power into the air conditioner. The rest of everything, while I'm doing all the rest of the work, I can leave the two existing air conditioners working. So that way I'm not in here sweating to death while I'm doing various things. So we got that. The breaker, it fits okay. I'm not going to plug it in, but just kind of set it into place. You know, it's just resting up against the two poles there. So that fits okay, no problem. So I got a call from the delivery company that's shipping the mini split air conditioner. And it's coming from, I think it's coming from California, of all places. But the company that's shipping it is Everett or Averett. They called me earlier. I actually thought it was a telemarketer, so I ignored the call, and then I saw that I had a message in my voicemail, and it turns out it was them. So I called them to schedule the delivery. So I wanted to be here. I didn't want to just have this thing sitting in the yard. So truck driver's supposed to call me when he gets here, and then I'll just meet him out on the road there to pick it up off the truck, and then I can just bring it in on my pickup. Well, there's the semi-finished product. We got the, lack of a better term, we'll call it a railing that was installed on this portion here where the access was to the former bunk. We put the railing in. We attached the board here. I was going to go with plywood, and when I went to the hardware store, they had plywood that was cut wide enough but was only about 3/4 long enough, so I would have to splice in another piece, and I didn't want a seam in the middle. It was either that, a full sheet of plywood and have it ripped down to fit, which I really didn't feel like fooling with a full sheet of plywood, or this. This is, of course it's pine, but there's strips of pine that are glued together, and it makes one board that was, it was just wide. Well, it's actually just a smidge too narrow, so that's why there's trim across the top up there. It was, I think, just about a ½ inch or so too short. So I put excess trim up there. I had a piece of that left over that I used for the bottom and the top of the 1x1s. And I don't know, I think I had to cut off like 8 inches or something like that off the end for it to fit. There used to be a board across the bottom of this aluminum frame there that had cloth on it, and now that this board is up here, it sticks out. Oh, I got to point in the right place here. The board sticks out I don't know, a ½ inch to an inch further than what the railing does underneath of there, so the board doesn't fit right now. I have to get another strip of wood to put in there, and I'm going to try to take the fabric off the piece that was originally there and staple it on the replacement piece to go underneath of here. And so I still have to put that on yet. I'm going to try to put, I've got a piece drying now, I got a piece of 1/4 round or inside corner for over here to kind of finish that edge. So that's all up. I got a couple of holes here where I didn't quite the screws just weren't quite long enough. There's a bit of a gap between the board and the stanchions for the railing on the inside, so there's a couple places where they didn't quite grab. So I got a couple of holes that I need to fill in and restain, and I accidentally split the corner over here putting a screw in, so I got to repair that. Just minor stuff, but all in all, that's in. It looks halfway decent, I think. We still have to cut the cabinet doors on the wall on the reverse side. I've got the doors in the back drying right now. They've been stained, and the mini split showed up a little while ago. I got a call from the truck driver there. He pulled in the road out front, and I went up and met him. We slid it on the back of my truck, and then I just brought it over here, put the tailgate down for the toy hauler, just slid them inside for the time being. I will unpack those probably, I don't know about Friday, maybe Saturday, and see about, if I don't hook it up, it's going to be kind of organize everything, get everything in place, maybe run the line set, and go from there. Maybe Sunday we'll try to run power to it. So anyway, that's where we are for video number, what is this, 2, I think. So we'll have another one up here in a few days. Hopefully we'll have this thing up and running and testing it out, and hopefully unhooking the 2 rooftop air conditioners sometime in the next week or 2. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.